Auggie and me, the Julian chapter. Spring. I didn't tell anyone about the suspension. When Henry texted me a few days later asking why I wasn't in school, I told him I had strep throat. That's what we told everyone. It turns out 2 weeks suspension isn't so bad, by the way. I spent most of my time at home watching SpongeBob reruns and playing Knights of the Old Republic. I was still supposed to keep up on my schoolwork, though, so it's not like I totally got to goof off. Ms. Rubin dropped by the apartment one afternoon with my locker stuff. My textbook, my loose leaf book, all the assignments I would have needed to make up. And there was a lot. Everything went really well with social studies and English, but I had so much trouble doing the math homework that Mom got me a tutor. Despite all the time off, I was really excited about going back, or at least I thought I was. The night before my first day back, I had one of my nightmares again. Only this time, it wasn't me who looked like Auggie. It was everyone else. I should have taken that as a premonition. When I got back to school, as soon as I arrived, I could tell something was up. Something was different. The first thing I noticed is that no one was really excited about seeing me again. I mean, people said hello and asked me how I was feeling, but no one was like, "Dude, I missed you." I would have thought that Miles and Henry would be like that, but they weren't. In fact, at lunchtime, they didn't even sit at our usual table. They sat with Amos. So I had to take my tray and find a place to squeeze in at Amos's table, which was kind of humiliating. Then I overheard the three of them talking about hanging out at the playground after school and shooting hoops. But no one asked me to come. The thing that was weirdest of all, though, was that everyone was being really nice to Auggie. Like, ridiculously nice. It was like I had entered the portal to a different dimension, an alternate universe in which Auggie and I had changed places. Suddenly, he was the popular one, and I was the outsider. Right after last period, I pulled Henry over to talk to him. "Yo, dude, why is everyone being so nice to the freak all of a sudden?" I asked. "Oh, said Henry, looking around kind of nervously. "Yeah, well, people don't really call him that anymore." And then he told me all about the stuff that had gone down at the nature retreat. Basically, what had happened was that Auggie and Jack got picked on by some 7th grade bullies from another school. Henry, Miles, and Amos rescued them, got into a fight with the bullies, like real punches flying, and then they all escaped through a corn maze. It sounded really exciting, and as he was telling me, I got mad all over again that Mr. Tushman had made me miss it. "Oh, man," I said excitedly. "I wish I'd been there. I totally would have creamed those jerks." "Wait, which jerks?" "The 7th graders." "Really?" He looked puzzled, though. Henry always looked a little puzzled. "Because, I don't know, Julian. I kind of think that if you had been there, we might not have rescued them at all. You probably would have been there cheering for the 7th graders. I looked at him like he was an idiot. "No, I wouldn't," I said. "Seriously?" he said, giving me a look. "No," I said. "Okay," he answered, shrugging. "Yo, Henry, are you coming?" Amos called out from down the hallway. "Look, I gotta go," said Henry. "Wait," I said. "Gotta go." "Want to hang out after school tomorrow?" "Not sure," he answered, backing away. "Text me tonight and we'll see." As I watched him jog away, I had this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. Did he really think that I was that awful that I would have been rooting for some 7th graders while they beat Auggie up? Is that what other people think? That I would have been that much of a dirtwad? Look, I'm the first one to say I don't like Auggie Pullman, but I would never want him to get beat up or anything. I mean, come on, I'm not a psycho. It really annoyed me that's what people thought about me. I texted Henry later on, "Yo, BTW, I would never just have stood by and let those creeps beat Auggie and Jack up." But he never texted me back. Mr. Tushman. That last month in school was awful. It's not like anyone was out and out mean to me, but I felt iced out by Amos and Henry and Miles. I didn't feel popular anymore. No one really ever laughed at my jokes. No one wanted to hang out with me. I felt like I could disappear from the school and no one would miss me. Meanwhile, Auggie was walking down the hallways like some cool dude, getting high-fived by all the jocks in the upper grades. Whatever. Mr. Tushman called me into his office one day. "How's it going, Julian?" he asked me. "Fine. Did you ever write that letter of apology I asked you to write?" "My dad says I'm leaving the school, so I don't have to write anything," I answered. "Oh," he said, nodding. "I guess I was hoping you'd want to write it on your own." "Why?" I said back. "Everyone thinks I'm this dirtbag now. Anyway, what the heck is writing a letter going to accomplish?" "Julian." "Look, I know everyone thinks I'm this unfeeling kid who doesn't feel remorse," I said, using air quotes. "Julian," said Mr. Tushman, "no one—" Suddenly, I felt like I was going to cry, so I just interrupted him. "I'm really late for class, and I don't want to get in trouble, so can I please go?" Mr. Tushman looked sad. He nodded. Then I left his office, without looking back. A few days later, we received an official notice from the school telling us that they had withdrawn their invitation to re-enroll in the fall. I didn't think it mattered, since Dad told him we weren't coming back anyway. But we still hadn't heard from the other schools I'd applied to, and if I didn't get into any of them, we had planned on my going back to Beecher Prep. But now that was impossible. Mom and Dad were furious at the school, like crazy mad, mostly because they had already paid for the tuition for the next year in advance. The school wasn't planning on returning the money. See, that's the thing with private schools. They can kick you out for any reason. Luckily, a few days later, we did find out that I'd gotten into my first choice private school, not far from where I lived. I'd have to wear a uniform, but that was okay. Better than having to go to Beecher Prep every day. Needless to say, we skipped the graduation ceremony at the end of the year.